Floyd overdose, Goonet Void in the backhoe. Goonet, fapping, AI, turn it into goon bait. T50s, woke pussy hoes, TND Goy in the castle. In high school I was a gooner, I was a retard, I was a cola. Multiple personality like a Truna. Bone crushing, jelking, now I'm Marga. Peptides, clav streams, fought it all in my ear, put me in a dream. Baby, I got peptides. Tell me a secret, then I'll tell one of mine. I don't wanna talk, I wanna goon all night. Ask me if I'm alright. UFO demon in sight. Lip darkina, peanut. Goy dick, make a void shake. George Floyd overdose, Goonet Void in the backhoe. Lip darkina, peanut. AI, turn her into goon bait. T50s, woke pussy hoes, TND Boy in the castle. Adolf Hitler on the beat. Goonin', fapping, should Goy click, make a voice shake. George Floyd overdose, Goonet Void in the backhoe.
right, good morning. Welcome to Josh Trades morning live stream. It looks like we've got Jim Frank 89 in the chat. Jim Frank, let us know if you want any symbols charted today. Start out by taking a look at the S&P 500. We've had a absolutely crazy move up in the S&P the last probably 10 days. I think I saw a stat the other day that this was the most relentless rally, 10-day rally that we've seen, I believe, since 1950. So we're just trying to figure out when this is going to run out of steam. So we've got price pulling in here as we look at kind of zooming in on some smaller time frames on the S&P. Has been just blowing through all of these resistance levels, turning them into support. We're now above the all-time highs, which is going to be an interesting headline, but will it hold is the more interesting question here. When we invert our SPY chart, we see that we're starting to pull into this resistance level here around 710, 715. Plus we have this channel that we've been working in. So I'm expecting some kind of resistance here around the 710 level. It's just going to kind of peek its head above here and then fail from here. The question is, are we going to be able to fail below this 650 level or not? Or are we going to kind of become range bound again here in this range, which would be an interesting way for this to play out. So looking for, maybe not today, maybe sometime the rest of the week, some kind of failure here in the S&P 500. So keep an eye on that. QQQ looks the same way. Does have a little bit more room up above, all the way to maybe 675 if it wants it. Tech has really led this charge up, so it'll likely lead the charge down. But as we look here, we're starting to see about 645 on the QQQ. We're going to run into that trend line resistance. So how is price going to react when it gets there, and when it fails, what's the target on that? So those are some things I'm keeping an eye on. We are seeing an uptick in the DXY this morning, which is bearish for stocks. This is a little bit of a headwind for stocks. So if it's able to break out of this trend line here, kind of found support at $98. And if this gets above 100, that's bad news for the markets. So we'll see what happens with DXY. We've been keeping an eye on that. Here with Bitcoin, we did have a big break of this large time frame trend line, expecting a retest of maybe 70,000. That's where I'm interested in starting to play crypto names. There is kind of like a twilight zone scenario where this does become like a false breakout and this still breaks down to 50 or 60. So just keep that in mind. But it's kind of looking like it's diverging from the S&P and the Qs, so could potentially revert to the mean here at 70. Keep an eye on that. Ethereum, a down day here as well. Exact same chart, but we're looking for an entry around 2000. But same thing in the twilight zone, it could get to 1600. So just be aware of that. We looked at the NASDAQ here, the futures just straight line up, blowing through everything, starting to get overheated on the 4-hour, just getting overheated on the daily, which is crazy. I mean, we're coming from these lows from an oversold condition, now an overbought within 10 days. Just had a long way to go here. So that happened pretty fast compared to this. This was the Liberation Day, kind of when the tariff war went away for a bit. So that happened in a much slower pace, but here already overbought here. The VIX The fear gauge, we did have a contract reset here. So was riding the bottom of this channel. The contract reset here, that's really why there's the gap there. So not necessarily accurate here, but we do want to see this get out of this channel and get bullish again if we're looking at a bearish setup on the market. The Dow Jones has been lagging a little bit. As you'll see, this one is not near its all-time highs, still has some extra room to go. So interesting to see if this continues up or if it's going to be a laggard. Yesterday, I posted in our Discord group kind of my thoughts for the next few weeks. And my thoughts were that SPY is going to come up and kind of settle in here for maybe a week or so, 700 to 710, and that we're going to start to see a rotation between the Mag 7 and some of the big names that led this way up. Some of the names that led the way up are like Amazon, this move here, Google, this move here, Meta, this move here. But a couple names are a little bit behind, including Apple yesterday finally had its big move. Tesla yesterday finally had its big move. So I think we're going to start to see Meta, Amazon, Google, Nvidia start to kind of cool off here at the top. And then we're going to see Microsoft, Tesla, and Apple really join the party and kind of keep SPY pinned in this area as they rotate bullish days. So that's what I'm looking for there. Go through these again real quick. Apple, if it can get above 270, this is going to make a move back to 300. So keep an eye out for that. The late joiner to the rally here. Amazon, starting to get concerned about this rally up here at about 265. So keep an eye on that. Google, same thing, looking for a double top here at 350, but see if it can push through that on this false breakdown, violent move here. Meta, same thing, starting to lose a little bit of steam. Microsoft, the laggard, I have calls in this. I'm layering those out at 425 and 450 because I just don't know how much is left in this rally. Nvidia, same thing, looks a lot like all the others. See if it can lose some steam here. Tesla, this one's just getting started. I actually alerted an entry to our group on the Tesla 2x leveraged here. So I did get an entry at about 1160. It's up to 1330 already. See if there's anything in the pre-market. Yeah, so it's up a little bit pre-market. My targets there are 20, 25, and 40. But just something to remember with these 2x ETFs, you can't necessarily rely on these resistance levels as well as you can when you're watching the actual underlying chart there. So let's take a look at here. Sleep Number, this is one of the more interesting short squeezes that we're seeing in the market right now. I did get an entry on this at about 160 and was able to I took some profits yesterday at about 230. And I'm looking for another entry here at 175. So just took those profits and kind of trying to recycle those gains into loading up more and more shares in this name, because I think that this is going to squeeze and go to $12 or $14 pretty fast. This market cap, the market cap on this, I think is only 18 or 20 million. So this can just go absolutely gangbusters if it gets the right move. It does have earnings in 2 weeks, so that will be a potential landmine. But with this name, they did have some news come out that they were seeking an emergency loan. This was on April 1st or so, that they're looking for rescue financing. So that's not great. But if that turns out to be false and the conference call goes well, this can just absolutely squeeze. It's one of the most shorted names. I I believe, in the entire market. Let me pull it up on FinViz here, and then we can go through some of these calendar things as well. So yeah, looking at FinViz, we've got a 33% short float. So just a crazy amount. I was looking for the days to cover, but we're seeing a little bit of easing in the shorts here. So from October, 46% down to 33. So that's kind of, you kind of want to see shorts lifting the lid a little bit, which shows that you can, this can get some legs here, but it's obviously down, was down like almost 90% from early February. So really like this name here. Before we hop into the insiders, let's go through some of the economic calendar for today. It wasn't a very busy week. So we've got initial jobless claims. Those just came in a little bit better than expected. Have to see how the market's reacting to that. But Fed governor at 10:35, a couple Fed governors tomorrow. So nothing super major today that's going to serve as a landmine. President schedule is for tomorrow. So for today, looks like eventually he's going to Las Vegas. 7 p.m. In Las Vegas, remarks on tax day. So that'll be interesting. And then some of our earnings from yesterday and this morning. Let's throw a few of those up on the screen and see what those look like. I do own TSM. This one is, why that's down there, is having a breakdown from earnings. So see if this is kind of putting in a double top here. I'm expecting the semiconductor industry to start cooling off. We did have JB Hunt after hours yesterday. Really no movement there. Charles Schwab this morning. Kind of a slightly bearish reaction there. But looking pretty, not super extended, but just not something I look at as an investor here. Pepsi, kind of hanging out, pretty muted reaction on earnings. And let's throw Abbott up there, healthcare name. Kind of surprised that this one is down here. Pretty decent move down here. So probably wants to go down, find this $90 support here. Yeah, 97. So tonight we've got a couple interesting names coming up. We've got Netflix earnings. This one's crushed it the last couple of weeks. Had a nice move up while the market was moving down, and then had a second wave as the market was moving up. So really rode that momentum there. Alcoa, this is also after the close. Looking kind of in no man's land here. Could go either way. Looking like possibly a flag here that could resolve up. Cohen and Steers. This one's had some decent insider buying. Kind of like this chart. See how that turns out. We got a couple banks, but nothing too interesting there. Next, we'll pull up our custom-built super dashboard that we've been using on unusual whales. This allows us to build in kind of the trades that we're looking for, specifically 60 to 270 day calls. I typically look for 60 to 180. This gives me a little bit of a buffer. So calls, puts, long-term convictions. These are whales buying leaps. And then our flow alerts that are built into unusual whales. So let's chart out a few of these. We've got Tesla's bullish, Meta's still bullish actually. Bulls on light, JPM. Some of these I'm definitely not going to agree with, but good to see that SMH has got some puts coming in. ASML, surprised by these Tesla puts. So let's throw some of these up on the chart and take a look at them. We'll start with these Tesla calls. We already kind of showed this chart, but they're looking at 390 calls. So basically already in the money for 183 days. So they're really looking to kind of protect this corner and get the upside here. So that was 139,000. So then we did have two whales come in on Meta with some 720 calls. So they're looking for this move to keep extending here on Meta. But we've seen these names, just when it feels like the momentum is running out, these names just keep going. Light, this one here, we've seen a lot of these kind of like false breakdowns. Like here, you're up against the trend line. You think that this is the end for Light, that this is going to be collapsing here. But basically this whale, we got two whales here, spent about $500,000 on 770 calls. So they're in the money, but they're really looking for a bounce here from this 780 area back up into 1,000 for really one last run on this name before it turns bearish long term. So interesting play there. We've seen that work out quite a bit. With these big bank names, I've had issues with these charts with those candles, so can't really show you this one. AXT, we've got two bulls coming in here for about 250K, 105 calls. So these are significantly out of the money, not even in the chart, but they're looking for a move all the way up here to 105. So very interesting. Let's go to the bear side. We did see some SMH puts come in. These are for 480 puts. So those are in the money. They are protecting this, they don't want price to go above this level here, which makes sense. When I look at puts, I really like to put inverse these to give me a better idea of what it looks like. So here, they're protecting this 480, and they're looking for a move down here off this trend line. I do own Soxus, which is a 3x leveraged version of this. So that would coincide with these puts. So I'm really excited to see a lot of bearish moves coming in on semiconductors here. We do have a ASML bear here for about just under 300,000. They're looking at 1,600 puts. So they're, again, same thing. They're kind of protecting this area, expecting price to stay below that 1,600 level. Again, this one does have the potential for like a final thrust to maybe 1,675 or so. That's where I would probably get like mega bearish on this. But if this whale's ready to kind of sit through that, they've got 218 days. So not super worried about short-term price movements here. So let's see what happens with ASML. We did have two more of those come in. Actually, 5 of those total on the day. 3 of them were 1,600s. 2 of them were 1,400s. So out of the money, trying to get that back in the money. So again, as somebody who's short semiconductors, excited to see a lot of whales coming into that space. Here we've got U.S. oil. We had a $100,000 85 put on this. So again, this is an inverted chart. So 85 put would put us right back here at this former resistance support level. So it looks like a lot of whales are counting on a short-term cooling off in oil and a move back up here out of this pattern. So what they really want to see is this move to happen quickly, but there's a chance it could revisit 145 again. So keep an eye out for that. And we did see some names like Chevron start to cool off here. So they had their big break out of their pattern, and now they're just trying to cool off and maybe retest this area. So as you look at USO, that's going to be kind of a similar setup here where they're looking for a retest down here of the 50-week moving average. Same thing with Oxy. So it had a big breakout and is getting a little bit bearish here. Obviously, these are very news oriented. So whatever happens in the war is going to drive these names. Looks like honestly, like more of a bottoming pattern here. I would actually take shorter term calls on this, but if it breaks below 55, could be bearish. But I think this is setting up for like maybe one last push there, but not an A+ setup for me. So not something I'm going to be taking. Just kind of curious what those whales are doing. So what do we have on some of the longer term stuff? We've got, these are 300+ days to expiration. So these are typically leaps. We've got a big one coming in on Google. We've got a big bearish one coming in on Palantir. So between here, again, this is an inverted chart. This is what I've been tracking. I've been shorted all the way since 222 here. And I did sell my puts here at 125. So once we break through 125, we can see some more downside on this. But for now, I honestly think this is a little bit bullish. Just got a chat from Jimmy, not sure if he's in here. MUFG, Mitsubishi Financial. Here we've got kind of a topping pattern here, but we got a breakout, kind of a false breakdown here. So came down to this support level. And so this is just a momentum name that is, refusing to break through any supports. So on Mitsubishi Financial, we've got good entry was 16, and from here could potentially run to, using our Fibonacci's, we've got that to lock on there, about 2240, 2616. So if this can continue to be bullish, we can see that on Mitsubishi Financial. We'll go through a couple other Jim Frank names that I know that he's interested in. This is Taboola. So we've got a nice structure formed here. We've got lows at 250. We've got a trend line break here, break and retest, getting bullish again on Taboola. Needs to see it break out of this $5 base to go anywhere. But once it does, it's got targets of 10 and 17. So interesting look there. Another Jim Frank 89 chart, Ally Financial. Pretty bullish look here. We've got a breakout from this pattern, kind of consolidating, and we want to see this push there on Ally. Keeping things interesting for Jim Frank, we've got Kroger. So the grocery industry, we'll show you a couple of grocery industry charts. Kroger is experiencing a little bit of a drawdown here, but it doesn't mean long-term that it's bearish. But it could be. Let's throw this one inverted and see what we think. Yeah, so when we invert this, we get a lot more bearish look here where we could see a bounce up to 75 again and failure to like 53. So let's take a look at Upstart. This is a name I really like right now. Came into this $20 support level and is breaking out of this falling wedge. So this is like a perfect technical setup, breaking out of this falling wedge here. And this can go to 50, it can go to 80. And then once it breaks out of this base resistance here, so zoom in here, it's kind of bouncing between, let's say 11, 15, 20, this kind of base area to 80, 90. It's bouncing between those two. So you want to buy this when it gets to 20, you want to sell it when it gets to 80, but eventually it needs to break that 87.90 area. And then we've got a ton of upside here. This is really like a recession name. When we get into the upcoming recession, this one's going to play really well because they do lending and credit checks and modern. It's kind of, I think it's kind of like a Palantir for credit checks. Big purchase here from their CTO at $40. So really like this. I think that there's a like a 2x on this one. Yeah, UPSX. So if you like that name and really want the leverage on it, UPSX is a good way to go about that. It's already up 100% in the last 2 weeks from the bottom at 12. So if you can get in this under $20, that's a great place. I love those 2x ETFs. What was the other? There was another grocery company that was coming up on the insider buying. Yeah, let's take a look at some other names. We've got like Conagra. These are names I really like for investments. Conagra's pretty much near its almost all-time lows at $10. If you can get Conagra down there, you're going to really like this in 5 to 10 years. Food names are great right now. We've got BJ's Wholesale. Not super. This is not one I would buy here up at the top. Casey's General Stores. This one's been parabolic lately. Might be time to put a short on this one soon. Just look at the volume on this, just crazy. But I'm forgetting the SFM. So for this is, I think, the closest competitor to Meijer's Fresh Time, Sprouts, similar business model, in my understanding. So looking for Sprouts to maybe find support at like $53, $50, currently 74. So it's got about 30% left in downside. I'd love buying this at $50 here. And what else do we have? We've got Albertsons. I think we talked about that a little bit earlier. So grocery outlet. This one's been showing up a lot on insider buy scans. Here, I'm interested in it at $3. That would be a 60% downside from here, but this could have some potential down here at $3 or so. A name I recommended to a friend yesterday, Hims, super popular name amongst traders and investors, has broken out of this downtrend here and got super bullish yesterday. I don't know if there was news, regulatory pivot, the peptides thing. So they've been talking about loosening restrictions on peptides, and they've got the chance to capitalize on that. So Hims, super great play right now. This one also has a 2x ETF. I actually alerted this to our community a few weeks ago when it was here somewhere around, we got in around $18. I actually got out here around 40, and now we're making another run at it. So if this cools off, maybe $25, decent spot to get into Hims here. Novo Nordisk, another great name, has been really getting beaten up, but I think that the downtrend is finally over. We had kind of like a false breakout here where I got really bullish on it. I did buy some shares in this like 60 to 80 area. And then we had just bad news after bad news after bad news, unrelenting bad news for like almost a year. And I think we finally found our bottom here at like 30 bucks. So this is something that you're really going to want to own and set it and forget it. Awesome looking chart here. Anything from 30 to 40 bucks, I'd be adding to this. Just like an A plus setup for the next 5 to 10 years. Even, I mean, like 2 to 5 years actually. Also has a 2x ETF, NVOX, bouncing off of support here. This is up like 40%. Just to the top of this channel is like a 2x. So love NVOX here. A ton of these super volatile names with 2x's are setting up. We got EOS Energy. This one has been squeezing lately, up almost at 80%. It has a nice gap to fill here. So pretty soon this is going to make a quick 1 day run to 10 bucks. That'll be fun to see. I don't know if this has a, yeah, there we go. EOSU. Don't know what that's about. That would have been cool. Looks like they just maybe split this. Did they split this yesterday? Yeah. So kind of new. So not a ton you can chart here just because it's too new, but you have to go to the base layer here. So you can see a huge move up in EOS. Keep an eye on that. SOX, again, this is the semiconductor index. This is the inverted chart. Just like SMH, we did see this false breakdown, this crazy run up. And that's where I think the semis are starting to run out of steam here. You're at the very early stages of MACD curl, RSI's oversold, again, on the inverted chart. And so you're starting to see some resistance here to this trend line. And as soon as this breaks down, this could be a potentially super explosive move down. A lot of late buyers are going to be trapped here. So keep an eye on that. What else do we have? Oh, Webull, another great name that's been beaten up. Like so many names that have been just absolutely destroyed the last year are really finally starting to catch a bid here. So Webull's up about probably 60% here, something like that. And as soon as we get above $8, this can really start going. The catalyst here was that they are reducing the day trading, pattern day trading restrictions. So companies like Webull are really going to benefit from that. I haven't looked at Robinhood actually. Yeah, so they're benefiting from that as well. This is a lot of, this is right when that pattern day trading thing was announced. So Robinhood and Webull are the two that are going to benefit from that the most. Charles Schwab that we looked at, not as much, but like a little bit here. Obviously, I'm using Schwab, but I think they're trying to bring in more retail traders, and that's via Hood and Webull. And there is a 2x ETF of both of these. I own this. I've been holding a bag on 2x Webull for a while, so still underwater. But this has a lot of room to go. And then what's the Hood? HOOG is the Hood 2x. So if you like Hood, here's a great chance to get in here around 14. But this has doubled in just the last week. So the power of the 2x's, if you know what you're doing, this is absolutely crushing it. And it's just getting started, honestly. When you look at these trend lines here, a move to 45, even if you're being super conservative, you can take this from 14 to 45. That's a 3x, and then see what it does there. If it breaks the trend, it's got a ton more room to go on 2x Hood. Anybody in the chat have any other tickers you want me to take a look at? Happy to go through them. What else do we have here? Let's take a look at the futures and see how they responded to that. The economic news this morning. Yeah, really nothing. 8:30. just absolutely no response. So same thing here on the S&P futures. We're kind of looking for this maybe run up to 7,100, tag that trend line one more time, get a nice clean number, 7,100, set a new all-time high for the headlines, and then have it collapse from there. This is really, if anybody remembers the Pam Bondi 50,000 foot in her mouth comment, this could be another chance for the administration to put their foot in their mouth of an all-time high, only for it to collapse later. We got DraftKings. This one is, it looks decent here. It's kind of, I've got it marked for a possible entry at 15. It could like come down here within this channel and test 15, but it could stabilize here. Like this is not like a super A plus setup for me, but if you own this, I mean, this is looking pretty bullish. Just be aware that it could make a run at 15 before it goes anywhere. But once we get above 28, then we're kind of in bull mode and this thing can take off. We did see Flutter, which I think is, what's their name? It's the other big betting app, FanDuel. So this is the company that owns FanDuel, sitting at their support here at $100. We've got the channel here. We've got MACD curl. We've got RSI looking perfect here. So really love the look on Flutter. This one can run to 150 pretty easily. Not a lot of, there's a bunch of just open space in here. There's actually a gap to fill there. So this thing, once it gets above 116, gets above that 50-day, that can really run to 150, 160 fast. And then from there, we'll have to see if it's continues on bullish or not. But pretty good stuff there in gaming. What is Caesars? I think is SZR. Yeah, so Caesars is testing a trend line here at 27. Does have the chance to really break down to $10. But if we can get above this trend line and get moving, I mean, this is a pretty good look actually. So could see some positivity in gaming on things like Caesars and DraftKings and Flutter. Let's see what else. What else is really moving today? Let me go to the insider trading and see if there's anything that stands out there. Oh wow, we did have some. Oh, Nike's a good one. Lots of Tim Cook, the Apple CEO, who's on the Nike board, has been buying Nike shares here. He just spent $1 million, and so did the CEO. So right here, each spent $1 million, down here at $42. So I really like Nike here. I bought some leaps here that the support didn't hold. But very bullish Nike for the next 30 days. Looks like it wants to get to that $60 level. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Jimmy. Good luck at work. What else do we have here? We've got, most of these are kind of old. I don't know if this is a data error, but 8 billion into V-Wave. That's pretty crazy, but I mean, it seems like such a small stock that it would have moved off of that, but who knows? But small breakout here, early stages, hard to chart this one because it's so young. But potential move on that. LW, we did chart this the other day, but there's more money coming into this, Lamb and Weston Holdings. I don't even know what these guys do. I need to find something in Schwab that tells me like a 2-sentence summary of what these companies do. But yeah, lots of buying coming in here down at these levels. Good looking chart. If it can break out of this trend line, could see a move there. Conagra, interesting. That's one we've mentioned this morning. Conagra here down at 14 bucks, 10 bucks. Love that name. Looks like so does this director. Not a huge buy. TBN and Vanny. TBN, I think, said something about, resources. Okay, so we've got a nice base break and retest here. So very short term bullish. This is a great swing trade, a great day trade, well, more of a swing trade, but bouncing off this 35 level. If this wants to keep going, you're looking at about 62 bucks on that. So, which would be about a double from there. What else we got? We got Vanny, VANI. Yeah, biotech, $1. I always cringe at these ones. Be careful with these. So yeah, how big was that buy? 2 million. So pretty interesting. But that's the end of the stream for today. I'm going to head over to our Discord group and start sharing some of the stock picks I have. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the SPY and the futures and the semiconductors a lot today. Be sure to check out the description. We've got a free 7-day trial to the Discord, so you can check that out. In there, we're sharing my entries and exits, my watch list, and then you have direct access to me. I'll chart any stock that you want and give you a good analysis on it, whether it's something you want to buy or something you want to own and you're not sure if you should sell it. So hope to see a few of you in there. And remember, no live stream on Fridays. So I'll see everybody on Monday.